Okay, now let's create a small consumer that can read the JSON message that we're producer with the schema registry, and we're gonna just use a simple version just like we've done with the producer. Okay, the key thing here is that the deserializer is going to use the schema ID in each record, and it's going to automatically fetch the correct schema from the registry before decoding it, just like we've seen in our uh, theoretical class. Okay, so we're gonna do the basic flow again. We're gonna connect, subscribe, poll for messages, and then for each message we're gonna read the bytes, which will include the schema ID header. We're gonna use the schema ID to fetch the JSON schema from the registry, and then we're gonna validate and deserialize the bytes into a Python dict. Okay, then we print the key values. So we're doing now the opposite direction. So let's go for our imports. Let's import the consumer. The schema registry again. The JSON schema. And all of the serialization. Let's import the string deserializer this time. Serialization context. And the message field. I'm gonna copy again all of the login information from maybe this one. Just do this. Okay. Our broker will be the same. The schema registry URL will be the same. The topic name will be the same. We just need to add now the group ID. Let's create a JSON consumer group. All right. So we can go ahead and create a consumer. Again, we're not using the wrapper. We're going to later build something using our wrapper. So the broker, group ID will be the group ID. Let's read from earliest. And let's enable auto comment. All right, we instantiated our consumer. And then we can create the schema registry client again and the deserializer. Okay, the schema registry client now is how the deserializer is going to talk to the registry through the client. So again, it will retrieve the writer schema using the ID in the header, and for each one of the message that the producer sent. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the client just like we've done for the producer. And then the URL is going to be the URL. Okay, now let's define our deserializer. And since it's JSON, let's just call the deserializer for UTF-8. Cool. Now let's go ahead and define our JSON deserializer. It should be the JSON deserializer. In this case, we're gonna fetch the ID per message, so we don't need to pass a schema string. The client will be the client we just defined, and again the from dict this time. We're gonna return a dictionary in case it's not. Okay, so here something you might get confused. This is where the schema lookup happens conceptually. So this is this part of the code where it's trying to fetch from the registry. So when we call this JSON deserializer with the payload that we're doing here, this is going to read the message header that contains the schema ID, it's going to ask the schema registry for the schema for that specific ID, and then it validates and converts the JSON payload to a Python dictionary. So all of those three combined steps happens here. And we pass this schema string equals to none because we don't hard code a reader schema here. Okay, it goes directly from the schema registry. Okay, so we're ready to go and start to consume. So we need to first subscribe to our topic name, and let's log this. Consuming from topic name. Okay, so again, while true, we're gonna pull from these messages, waiting up to 1 second to see if anything pops in. If it's none, we just continue. All right, same conversation we've done, same implementation in case we get an error. Now this time I'll just keep it simple. Let's just log an error directly, independent of what it is. Let's not care about partition. So error, and then I'll leave it. Okay. Then if no error, then we simply deserialize using the UTF-8 decode. Call the deserializer, then message put dot key. If we have one, because it's not mandatory. I also have nothing, and this is where we get the value. So the thing that we're about to implement now, we're going to inspect all of the bytes in the message.value, and it's going to read the schema ID that is embedded by the producer on that message. Okay, so it contacts the schema registry to fetch the exact JSON schema for that ID, and then it's going to parse and validate the payload. All right, so let's call this context, get the topic and the value. And then we say that our value is a JSON deserializer passing the context. Cool. And let's log it. Key and value. All right. So this is in positive case, in case we have an exception, in case we interrupt this, stop it by the user. And finally, we're going to leave the group and release the network resource. Okay, let's just close the consumer. Oh, that was a lot. Not really, but there was something. Let's go ahead then and try to run this. Python 3, JSON, consumer simple schema. I need to get into scripts. You see, consuming from topic demo JSON, successfully connected to the registry, was able to identify the schema IDs and parse the messages. We have the keys 1, 2, and 3 and all of the values associated with it. So our consumer is working just great. So now you know how to use schema registry to register a schema using the producer and use that schema that was registered to have your consumer to check on them and make sure you were reading right from it. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a wrapper for a schema registry. We're going to implement way more functionalities. And then again, just like we've done in module 2, we're going to create a producer and the consumer using that wrapper and also using our own producer and consumer wrapper. The only difference also, except for that, of course, the difference that we're going to use Avro serialization, okay, which is more common for data streaming. All right, so stay tuned and see you in the next one.